It was a typical Monday morning in the sleepy town of Maplewood, the kind of town where nothing exciting ever happened. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and Timmy Thompson was frantically trying to finish his science project, which was due in exactly 1 hour. Timmy, a 12-year-old with wild hair and a knack for procrastination, had spent the entire weekend playing video games and watching zombie movies instead of working on his assignment. Now, with the clock ticking, he was desperately gluing the final bits of his model volcano together, hoping that a sloppy paint job would somehow win him an A for effort. "Timmy! Breakfast," his mum called from the kitchen. "Just a sec, Mum," Timmy shouted back, his voice muffled by the hot glue gun in his mouth. He was about to add the finishing touch, a little plastic dinosaur on top of the volcano, when something strange caught his eye. Out the window, he saw Old Man Jenkins, their neighbor, shuffling across the lawn in his bathrobe. Now, Jenkins was always a bit weird, but today he looked, well, even weirder than usual. His skin was a sickly gray, and he was making groaning noises like he'd swallowed a broken lawnmower. "Is Old Man Jenkins okay?" Timmy muttered to himself, leaning closer to the window. As if in answer, Jenkins suddenly turned his head, locking his glazed, milky eyes on Timmy. Then, without warning, he let out a guttural moan and started limping straight toward the house. "Oh no," Timmy said, his heart skipping a beat. He'd seen enough zombie movies to know what was going on. He bolted downstairs to the kitchen, where his mum was flipping pancakes. "Mum, I think Old Man Jenkins is a zombie," Timmy blurted out. His mum, who had been up all night watching reality TV and was now functioning purely on coffee fumes, didn't even look up. "That's nice, dear. You want syrup or just butter?" "But Mum." Just then, the doorbell rang. Timmy's mum sighed and set down the spatula. "I'll get it. It's probably the mailman." But when she opened the door, instead of a cheery good morning, she was greeted by the groaning, drooling form of Old Man Jenkins. "Hello," she said, squinting at him. "Can I help you?" Jenkins answered by lunging at her, his arms outstretched, his mouth wide open, showing off his yellowed, zombie teeth. "Timmy," his mum screamed, slamming the door in Jenkins' face and bolting it. "What on earth is wrong with Mr. Jenkins?" "I told you, Mum, he's a zombie," Timmy shouted as he grabbed the nearest weapon he could find, a spatula, and handed it to his mum. "Quick, grab the frying pan. We've got to defend ourselves." His mum, still processing what just happened, instinctively picked up the frying pan. "This better not be another one of your pranks, Timmy." But when Jenkins started pounding on the door, his moans growing louder, Timmy's mum realized this was no prank. Okay, what do we do?" she asked, her voice shaking slightly. Timmy, channeling every zombie movie he'd ever watched, replied, "We need to barricade the doors and windows. And don't let him bite you. If he does, you'll turn into a zombie too." As they scrambled to push furniture against the door, Timmy noticed something even worse. More of their neighbors were staggering out of their houses, all looking just as zombified as Jenkins. Mrs. Potts, the sweet old lady from across the street, was gnawing on her mailbox. The Johnson twins, usually glued to their phones, were now dragging their feet down the sidewalk, grunting with empty, lifeless expressions. "This is bad, Mum." "Really bad," Timmy said, peeking through the blinds. "Where's your father when we need him?" his mum muttered, grabbing the broom as her backup weapon. Timmy's dad was away on a business trip, leaving them to fend for themselves. But Timmy wasn't worried. After all, he'd beaten the final boss in Zombie Apocalypse 3 on hard mode. How hard could real zombies be? As the zombies gathered outside, Timmy's dog, Sparky, started barking wildly. But instead of joining the defense efforts, Sparky did the unthinkable. He rushed to the front door, somehow unlocked it with his nose, and dashed outside, tail wagging. "Sparky, no!" Timmy yelled, but it was too late. The zombies turned toward the happy dog, and to Timmy's surprise, they didn't attack. Instead, they stared at Sparky like he was the most interesting thing they'd ever seen. Jenkins even reached out and patted the dog's head, his zombie moans turning into something that sounded suspiciously like baby talk. Timmy blinked in disbelief. Wait a minute, they don't want to eat Sparky? His mum looked out the window, baffled. Maybe they're dog people. Timmy, thinking fast, grabbed a handful of dog treats from the pantry and tossed them out the window. The zombies immediately turned their attention to the treats, snatching them up with clumsy hands. They seemed less interested in brains and more in the bacon-flavored snacks. I think we just found their weakness, Mum, Timmy said, grabbing more treats. They're hungry, but not for brains, for bacon. The zombies, now completely distracted by the treats, wandered off down the street, following Sparky, who had taken on the role of the world's first zombie dog walker. As the last zombie shuffled out of sight, Timmy and his mum stood in the doorway, stunned. Well, that was unexpected, his mum said, lowering the frying pan. Timmy, still clutching the box of treats, grinned. Guess we don't have to worry about the zombie apocalypse after all. Who knew it would be so easy? His mum shook her head, laughing despite herself. You're still grounded for not doing your homework, you know. Timmy groaned. Ah, come on, Mum. I think surviving a zombie attack should count for something. Nice try, but no, she replied, ruffling his hair. As they watched Sparky happily leading the zombies down the street like a bizarre, undead parade, Timmy couldn't help but smile. Sure, he might have to face the wrath of his science teacher later, but for now, he was just glad the only thing zombies were hungry for was a good dog treat.